Broadcasting the information the mainstream media won't touch. This is The Richie Allen Show in association with DavidIke.com.
Michael Rubin, the American Enterprise Institute scholar and also a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. He's been putting out videos pushing for the redrawing of the map of the Middle East. This is serious stuff, this. And at a time when the independent media, almost in its entirety, has jumped on the Donald Trump bandwagon. And guys like me are thinking, we have to balance the amount of coverage we give to the presidential election result with everything else. And I think we've been doing okay with that. But there comes a point when you have to say, no, we've got to cover this stuff. We've got to give you a different opinion. Because I know that you primarily get your information from the independent media, not just from DavidIke.com, not just from us, not just from alternatecurrentradio.com, but you get it from everywhere. And 99 out of 100 organisations are telling you that Donald Trump is John Wayne. He's a thorn in the side of the establishment. He is the answer to tyranny, and he is the answer to the banks, to Wall Street, and to, well, the elite, to the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them. He isn't. So we're going to get into that in the second hour with Kevin Barrett and much more besides. Been an interesting old Wednesday. I think this week is flying, actually. It's been a very quick old week thus far. It really has. And it's been a busy old day today, actually. Kind of juggling around various things today with the programme. And before I go any further, 6 minutes past the hour, always reminds me of Howard Stern, that. If you ever want a good laugh, read a book called Private Parts. Forget the film, which is very good. Read the book about Stern's problems when he joined NBC in New York. And giving the time and the weather was a funny thing. I'm always mindful of it. Look, I mentioned today on Facebook, I put it out there, and I know because of Facebook and its algorithms that it might not have reached everybody intended for it to be reached. But next week, this coming Monday, I think is February 13th, the programme will broadcast at the new time of 7 p.m. GMT, going back an hour, 7 till 9 p.m. GMT. Now, I was very pleased today with the reaction to that on Facebook and on Twitter, because people don't generally like a change. And I knew there would be some people happy with that, it would suit them, but I thought there would be one or two more who mightn't like that, might have a problem with it. But there's some very good reasons for it. One, the start time of 8 p.m. is right bang in the middle of lunchtime on the Pacific coast. That's always been an issue for me with regard to getting guests and inviting guests on from that part of the world. But the other thing is the day I produce, edit and create this program by myself, entirely alone. There's a song in there somewhere. There are no violins playing for me, by the way, but I do all of that, and I do it from the very early AM. By around about 5 p.m, 5:30 p.m, I'm generally ready to go. It's an incredibly long day. And we thought by moving it from 7 to 9, it wouldn't really impact on you. You could still hear it live. The podcast would be online a little bit earlier than usual. It'll be online now at around about 9:20 p.m. as opposed to 10:20 p.m. It'll give me a little bit of a life after the show, and it'll make life infinitely more easy for me. But, like I said, not to downplay the importance of the Pacific coast, which we get a lot of guests from the west coast of America, and also from Arizona and places like that, Mountain Time, Pacific Time. So that was also significant in the decision. And I did think about it for a long time. I make easy decisions or not important decisions very quickly, but decisions that are important I do tend to dwell on for quite a bit. I've been thinking about this since the autumn. So there you are. If you put on notice now, from next Monday, 13th of February 2017, we will be broadcasting live at 7 p.m. GMT. I've spoken to my broadcast partners about it. They're all happy with it. They don't have a problem with it. And it's all hunky-dory our end. How about that? Right. Leaving that for now. There's a lot going on today with regards to the news. There's still a lot of talk today in various commercial national media about the Amnesty International report. I'm not going to get into this because I spoke at length about this in the monologue yesterday. But the Amnesty International report claiming that 13,000 people have been killed. There are some brilliant articles out there today absolutely decimating and dismantling the Amnesty International claims. And I've got to mention one of them. In fact, I'm going to tweet it out as soon as I can. I'm going to mention one or two of them. I'm going to tweet them out. But there's been a couple of brilliant articles, and one of them by a journalist will be on this programme tomorrow. I'll tell you more about that a little bit later on as well. So it's exactly 10 minutes past the hour. It was brought to my attention today that Alex Jones, in a recent InfoWars broadcast, said that he would die for Donald Trump. He would die for him. And I was sent an email today from a listener who said, don't mention my name, Richie, whatever you do. And I mean, I wouldn't anyway. But let's say Bob emailed me today, and he emailed me a list of tweets from Alex Jones, Paul Watson, and one or two other reporters / presenters for Infowars.com. And the gist of the tweets the gist of the email was, Richie, look at the similarity of the content of these tweets. Each tweet or each second tweet is a tweet about some country in the world where some young man or woman of Asian origin has committed some sort of crime. And alongside this, you have retweets of Donald Trump. Whenever Trump decides to tweet something, retweets of supporters of Donald Trump, and that's what it's been reduced to. So I heard the audio today. I didn't drag it out. I don't want to subject you to it. But the editor-in-chief and the head honcho at Infowars.com is now telling people that he's prepared to die for Donald Trump, no matter how. And I said this yesterday in the monologue, and this is going to be a feature. Like I said, I don't want to be doing this every single night. We don't want to be reporting on the movements of Donald Trump every single night, but we can't not do it. We can't not do it regularly as he continues to appoint people. Neocons, Goldman Sachs bankers, people in favour of privatising education. We've got to tell you. We've got to give you that other point of view because you're not getting it anywhere else in the independent media. Yes, of course, if you're a listener to Maria Heller, you're getting it. You're getting the truth. If you listen to and if you subscribe to davidicke.com, you're getting it. You're getting the alternative point of view. But outside of that, in the independent media, you're getting Trump is great. And Trump is draining the swamp. And you're getting told ludicrous things like, well, Trump kind of has to appoint these people because there's nobody else. And he's biding his time. And these are people now, remember, people like Alex Jones, whom I remember the night Trump was elected, it came as a surprise to me. I was convinced, as were a lot of people, but that doesn't matter whether a lot of people were or not. It was me. I was convinced that Clinton was the chosen one to further the NATO encroachment on Russia, to further the baiting of Russia and China, and so on, so on, so on. But I was wrong. I now believe that Trump, that's a good way of putting it, Trump was chosen all along. He was the chosen one. And on the night he was elected, I was reading and watching a variety of blogs and online radio and television shows in the independent media. And I do remember Alex Jones crying and telling Paul Joseph Watson that he loved him, that this was it, tyranny was over. And more importantly, they were rubbing their hands with glee, and I played all of these audio clips before, I'm not going to play them again, rubbing their hands with glee that now Hillary Clinton was going to go to prison. This is what they were telling you. Clinton was going to go to prison. This was it. Donald Trump was in now. All of these people were going to be arrested, and Clinton was going to go to prison. Now, if Alex Jones hadn't behaved the way he has behaved since November, I would almost feel sorry for him, because I believe that the desire to see Hillary Clinton in handcuffs being escorted from her Manhattan apartment and taken into custody, I have no doubt that desire on the part of Alex Jones is genuine and it's completely real and it's sincere. But the behaviour of Infowars and Watson and all the people associated with them since means I've got very little sympathy for them. Now, Donald Trump has no interest in going after his very good friends, the Clintons. Neither does the Justice Department. They never will. Clinton's next stop is a television programme. She'll be on The View as a permanent guest, or she'll be given her own programme. She'll do something like that, and she will subsidise that. That's a bad word to use. What will go along with that will be a world speaking tour, where along with the other criminals, Tony Blair and George Osborne and Barack Obama, soon to be on that circuit as well, they'll get six-figure sums for speaking to students at various Ivy League universities and basically telling whoppers of lies. That's what's going to happen with Hillary Clinton. Not going to go to prison anytime soon. And with Alex Jones and those like him, it's not about a lack of humility. It's about something far deeper and far more serious than just a lack of humility. It's not about a lack of humility. I get emails all the time. Richie, why won't these people admit they got it wrong? It's not about humility. These people have been co-opted. Whether consciously or subconsciously, they've been taken over. And now they prop up the system every bit as much as the mainstream news networks they claim to be fighting against. They're exactly the same now. I would die for Donald Trump, said Alex Jones, who would have you believe he's an independent journalist, reporting fairly and without bias and without prejudice on current affairs in the United States of America. No, he would die now for Donald Trump. A man who broke every promise he made within a week, within a day of becoming president, let alone the inauguration. Within a day of winning the presidency, he was telling people, I don't want to go after Clinton. Changing his stance on climate change, which he used to say was nonsense. And everything else that goes with it, you know. So we're going to report on these things as we go along. We'll do it in a way that is designed that it will never get boring. It'll never become dull for you. I do understand, because I do listen to what you have to tell me. I do read your tweets, and I do hear you when you say, you know, it's Trump is the subject of every third or every fourth guest you have coming on. It's Trump, 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 Trump. It is, and it's going to be, because that's where the focus is right now, is on Donald Trump.